Listen to me. You don't have as much time as you think. I know what you're doing right now. You're chasing money like it's the last train out of town. You tell yourself, just a little more and then I'll breathe. You say it's for safety, for your family, for freedom. But deep down, you're scared to stop running because you don't know who you'll be when the noise goes quiet. I'm 105 years old. I've been watching people do this for almost a century, and I did it too. 4 decades. I'm not saying this as a guru. I'm saying this as a tired old person who finally got honest with himself. I lost more than 40 years to it. 40 years. I don't mean I was poor or starving. I mean I gave the best parts of me to a chase that never ended. I gave my mornings, my patience, my health, my kindness. I handed them over like spare change. And I need to tell you where that started, because it didn't start with money. It started when I was a boy, and my house felt like thin glass in the winter. You could hear the wind through the walls. My father wasn't a bad man, but he was a worried man. Worry was like a second person in our kitchen. It sat at the table with us. It ate with us. It slept in the next room. I remember one night. I was maybe 8. I woke up because I heard my parents talking low. Not fighting. Worse than fighting. That quiet talking that means something is wrong but nobody wants to say it loud. I walked to the hallway and sat on the floor where they couldn't see me. My mother said, "We can't pay it all." My father didn't answer right away. Then he said, "I'll figure it out." His voice sounded small. That's what I remember most. My father sounded small. It took me years to understand why that moment cut me so deep, but it did. Something in me decided that night that I would never be small like that. Never. Not in front of anyone. So I made a promise. Not out loud. Inside. I promised I would become the kind of man money listens to. The kind of man bills can't scare. The kind of man who can say, "Don't worry," and mean it. That's how it begins, you see. Not with greed. With a wound. And once you have that wound, you build your whole life around it. I worked hard. I worked like a man trying to outrun a shadow. I was good at it too. I learned fast. I stayed late. I said yes when I wanted to say no. I took pride in being needed. I took pride in being the one who could fix things. At first it felt noble. It felt clean. I told myself I was protecting my future. Then it became a habit. Then it became my identity. Let me tell you something. When you chase money to feel safe, you don't stop when you're safe. You stop when you're tired. Or when your body forces you. Or when the people you love stop waiting for you. I climbed. Not like in the movies. No big speeches. Just steady climbing. Better job. More responsibility. A nicer house. A better car. A closet full of shirts I hardly wore because I was always at work. I remember the day I got my first real promotion. I shook the boss's hand and smiled so wide my cheeks hurt. I drove home like I was floating. I had this big idea that when I walked through the door, everything would feel different. My wife was in the kitchen. She said, "How was your day?" I said, "I got it. The promotion." She smiled. She hugged me. She said she was proud. And right there, in her arms, I felt something cold in my chest. Because I realized I wasn't done. I thought the promotion would calm me down. It didn't. It woke me up. It whispered, "Now do more. Now prove it again. Now don't lose it." That's the trap. You think money will give you rest. But if you're chasing money for the wrong reason, it doesn't give rest. It gives hunger. So I kept going. And the strangest thing happened. The more I achieved, the less I felt. Not nothing. I still laughed. I still ate dinner. I still paid the bills. But there was a dull space inside me. Like a room in my house I never entered. I would come home late, and the living room would be quiet. Not peaceful quiet. A careful quiet. My wife would be reading, but her eyes didn't lift right away. The kids would be in their rooms. I would stand there with my tie loosened, and I'd think, I did it. I provided. And I would feel like a visitor. I didn't say that out loud. I didn't even say it to myself clearly. I just kept moving, because movement kept me from feeling that emptiness. Here's a small story, one of the ones that still hurts. My son had a school play. He was a tree. A tree. They made him stand still and hold his arms out. He practiced for weeks, and he was so serious about it, like it was the biggest job in the world. He asked me, "Dad, will you be there?" I said, "Of course." But that day, a client called. There was a problem. A real problem, I told myself. Something that could cost money. Something that could make me look bad. Something that could threaten the safe world I was trying to build. I showed up late. I slipped into the back row. The lights were low. I could see the stage. And there he was. My son. Arms out. Trying not to wobble. His eyes scanned the crowd. He was looking for someone. He didn't see me. After the show, I found him near the side. He was still wearing his little brown costume. He said, "Did you see me?" I said, "I saw you. You did great." He nodded, but his face did something small, like a curtain falling. That moment lasted 2 seconds, but it stayed with me for decades. It took me years to understand why I couldn't forget it. Now I know. Because money can't buy back being seen. And if you aren't careful, you will spend your whole life trying to buy things, when what you really needed was to be present. Another story. Shorter. Sharper. My wife and I were in the car one night. Quiet. The kind of quiet that means there's something sitting between you. She said, "Do you even like being here with us?" I laughed, like she was being dramatic. I said, "What kind of question is that? I'm doing all of this for us." She looked out the window. She said, "I know. That's the problem." That line hit me like a slap, because I heard what she meant. She meant I was using "for us" as a shield. A shield against guilt. A shield against closeness. A shield against the fear that if I slowed down, I'd have to face myself. I didn't change right away. I want to tell you I did. I want to tell you I woke up the next morning and became a better man. I didn't. I doubled down. That's what people do when they're scared. We grip harder. We push harder. We chase harder. I told myself I was strong, but I was just avoiding pain. And the cost showed up slowly. Not like one big explosion. More like a leak under the sink. Day by day. A little more distance. A little more silence. A little less laughter. Then one day you look around and realize your house is full of things, but the warmth is gone. Now listen closely, because this is where the truth starts to form. I lived long enough to watch my peers split into 2 groups. There were the miserable ones. They weren't always poor. Some of them had money, big money, but they were tight inside, angry, suspicious, always talking about what they deserved, always talking about who took what from them, always counting, always comparing, always afraid. They retired and still couldn't rest. They would sit at lunch and complain about the price of everything, like the world was robbing them. Their faces looked like they were still in a fight. And then there were the peaceful ones. They weren't perfect. They had losses. Some had less money than the miserable ones, but they had something soft in them. They could sit in a chair and just sit. They could talk about their grandkids without checking their phone. They could laugh at themselves. They could say, "I've had enough," and believe it. Do you know what the peaceful ones had in common? They didn't use money to prove they mattered. They didn't use work to hide from their feelings. They built a life where love had a place to land. I watched this for years. I asked myself why. I argued with it in my head. I didn't want it to be true, because if it was true, then I had wasted a lot of time. Took me years to understand why. But here it is, plain and simple. Money is a tool. It is not a heart. Money can solve money problems. It cannot solve you. If you chase money to fill an empty place inside you, you will stay empty. Even if you win. That is the thesis of my life. That is the lesson that took me way too long to learn. And I'm going to say the key phrase, and I want you to let it sit. Stop chasing money. Stop chasing money. Stop chasing money. I don't mean quit your job. I don't mean be careless. I mean stop making money your proof that you are safe and worthy. Because that kind of chasing has no finish line. It will steal your weekends. Then it will steal your nights. Then it will steal your health. Then it will steal your temper. Then it will steal your tenderness. And one day it will try to steal your memories too, because you'll look back and realize you were there, but you weren't really there. Let me tell you something else, and this is hard to admit. I used to think love was something you fit in after the important stuff. After the deals. After the deadlines. After the next raise. I was wrong. Love is the important stuff. Not the sweet talk kind of love. I mean the daily kind. The kind that looks like time. The kind that looks like listening. The kind that looks like showing up when it's boring. When it's inconvenient. When nobody is clapping. There was a day, late in my life, when the chase finally slowed down. Not because I chose it. Because my body did. I had a health scare. Nothing dramatic in the story. Just a doctor sitting across from me, calm voice, serious eyes. I drove home with my hands tight on the steering wheel. The house felt different that day. I noticed things I hadn't noticed in years. The sound of the clock. The way light fell on the floor. The quiet. My wife was older too by then. Her hair had more gray. Her hands had little marks from time. She was at the table. She looked up at me. And I thought clear as day. I might lose her. I might lose this. And I've been acting like I had forever. I sat down. I didn't say much. I just sat there. She reached across the table and touched my hand. Just that. No speech. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. Not because money was handled. Not because the future was secure. But because in that moment, I wasn't performing. I wasn't proving. I was just there. That's when I saw the whole thing. The chase was never really about money. It was about fear. Fear that I wasn't enough. Fear that I'd be small. Fear that I'd be helpless like my father sounded that night. And the saddest part is this. My father wasn't small. He was human. And he loved us. I didn't understand that until I was older than he ever got to be. So now I'm talking to you. Not at you. To you. If you're watching this late at night, tired, thinking about your bank account, your job, your status, your future, your name, your worth, I know that feeling. And I'm telling you, gently but straight, don't trade your life for a number. Don't trade your people for a paycheck. Don't trade your peace for applause. You still need to work, yes. You still need to pay bills, yes. But you do not need to live like love is a reward you earn later. Here is your instruction. Simple. Decide what matters before life decides for you. Make room for the people who are right in front of you. And when you catch yourself thinking, just a little more money, then I'll start living, stop and tell the truth. You're already living. This is it. And if you don't like the way it feels, it won't be fixed by more chasing. It will be fixed by coming home to yourself. By being present. By being kind. By being honest. Stop chasing money. Not because money is evil. Because time is precious. Because your heart is not a business plan. Because the people who love you can't hug your bank account. I'm 105. I've buried friends who were richer than me and never smiled at the end. I've also held the hand of a friend who had almost nothing, and he looked peaceful because he knew he had loved well. I want that for you. I want you to have enough money to breathe, yes. But I want you to have enough life to feel. So here at the end, I'll say it one more time, plain. Stop chasing money. Use it. Respect it. But don't worship it. Go sit with someone you love, even if it's awkward at first. Look them in the eyes. Let the phone stay in the other room. And if you're alone right now, start by being gentle with yourself. Start by telling the truth about what you're scared of. Because the chase feeds on silence. Now I'll leave you with one question. What are you postponing that you will not get back? If you want, subscribe and stay with me. Not for tricks. Not for hustle. Just so we can keep having this quiet conversation while you still have time.